Hello everyone. Now in this session we will discuss about Xslt, where the Xslt stands for Extensible Style Sheet Language, and it is a style sheet language for XML documents, and XML transform XML documents into another formats. And as you know that Xslt stands for XSL transformations, and in this Xslt we will learn about how to use the Xslt to transform our XML documents into another formats like HTML. Understood? So, coming to the example here we have taken XML document, where the first line as usually we have written a text processing processing instruction like XML version is equals to 1.0 and encoding is equals to UTF-8, and thereafter the next processing instruction that I have written is XML style sheet type is equals to text or XSL, where I have used attribute href, and there I used a file which is XSL, that is a cd catalog.xsl as a reference to this XML document. And see here the root element that I have used in this XML document is catalog, and in this catalog I have used cd twice, cd element twice, where the cd again consisting of certain child elements like title, artist, country, company, price and year. So, in this XML document here we have taken a root element, that is a catalog, where it consisting of a child element, that is a cd, and it is used twice. It means here a namespace is used here, and as you know that namespace is nothing but the process of creating the two elements with the same name. So, here we have used the same cd element two times, and related to the same cd we have used the same title, artist and country, company, price and as well as the year two times. Understood? So, this is a XML document, and related to this XML document here we have used that XSL as a reference. So, now let us discuss about the XSL document, that is XSL transformations. So, and after applying this cd catalog.xsl we will get the output in this manner related to this XML document, where actually it is consisting of a certain heading like my cd collection, followed by here actually in that transformation I have used only the title and artist. So, now let us discuss about the Xslt code here. So, here actually it is a XSL code where its name is cd catalog.xsl, which is used as a reference in that XML document. So, here we have written XSL colon style sheet version is equals to 1.0, and there we used the namespace, XML namespace, that is w3.org/1999/XSL/transform, and after writing the template match we have started a HTML where we have written a certain heading like my cd collection, and we have started a table tag with a border that is equals to 1, and thereafter how many number of the rows that I have used is nothing but see here I have used the row tag, that is a tr tag 3 times. The first time it is used for writing the headings like title and artist, and even for that title and artist, for that row I have used some background color, some coding is written by me, that is a trbc color is equals to, and thereafter by writing the XSL colon for each by selecting the root element, that is a catalog and then cd, I have started another row. In that I have used the corresponding data, that is by selecting XSL colon value of select is equals to, which one you need to select means here I have selected only the title and artist. So, you can select based on your requirement. So, after that close the row and then close the XSL colon for each, and then close the table, close the body and then close the HTML and close the XSL colon template, and finally close the style sheet, XSL style sheet. Understood? So, and after applying this XSL code to your XML document, you will get the output in this manner. So where the title and artist, the first row it is a heading which is having some specific color as a background, and thereafter you are retrieving 2 rows of the data. Understood? That is about XSL transformations. Now after this, let us discuss about Sax, which stands for a simple API for XML, and this Sax is an event based parser for XML documents. So whereas a DOM parser is a tree based parser, but this Sax parser is a event based parser, and the Sax is a streaming interface for XML, as the name implies that simple API for XML. This Sax is acting like an interface for the XML document. So the applications using the Sax receive event notifications about XML document being processed, either an element or a attribute, and at a time in a sequential order starting from the top to bottom, top of the document and ending with the closing of the root element. Understood? So coming to the another one, that is a so this when you need to use this Sax and how you implement this simple API for XML. So this simple API, for how it works means, it reads an XML document from top to bottom, recognizing the tokens that make up a well formed XML document. The tokens which are processed in the same order that they appear in the document, and it reports the application program the nature of the tokens that the parser has encountered as they occur, and the application program provides an event handler that must be triggered with the parser, and as the tokens are identified, the callback methods in the handler are invoked with the relevant information. So when to use this Sax parser? So you need to use this Sax parser in different cases. So you must use the Sax parser when you can process the XML document in a linear fashion from top of the document to the bottom of the document, and you use the Sax parser when the document is not deeply nested, and when you are processing a very large XML document whose document object model tree would consume too much memory, and you use the Sax parser when the typical document object model implementations use 10 bytes of the memory to represent only 1 byte of the XML document. So the problem to be solved involves only a part of the XML document. So the data is available as soon as it's seen by the parser. So Sax works well for an XML document that arrives over a stream. So these are the different cases where you need to use the Sax parser. So now let us discuss the disadvantages of Sax. So we have no random access to the XML document since it is processed in a forward only manner, that means in a sequential manner from top to bottom. And another disadvantage is, if you need to keep track of the data that the parser has seen or change the order of the items, you must write the code and store the data on your own. Understood? So coming to this Sax parser, let us discuss how the Sax parser is working by using this example. So here in this example, first we have used a XML processing instruction, that is a version is equals to 1.0 and encoding is equals to UTF-8. Thereafter I have created a root element with a name that is a document element using an attribute that is a param with a value. And thereafter I have created a first element and some text is written by me. After that closed the first element, and another processing instruction is written by me with some name, some pi, some attribute and some value. Thereafter I have created a second element param2, that is a second element with an attribute param2 and something value, and some text is written by me, and thereafter I have started a inline element with an inlined text and closed the inline element. Thereafter a post text is written by me, and second element is closed and document element is also closed. So, whatever the events that you have done in this XML document, you need to write all those events one after another. So, related to the previous XML document, which when you used the Sax parser, it will generate a sequence of the events like the following. So, first initially XML element start named document element with an attribute param equal to value. Next XML element start with a name first element. Next XML text node with data is equals to some text. So, next XML element end named first element, and thereafter we have written a processing instruction with a target some pi and some data attribute, some attribute with some value. Understood? Next XML element start named second element with an attribute param2 equal to something we have written. Next XML text node you have written with a text pretext. Next you have started a XML element named inline. Next you have written some text which is a text node with the data is equals to inline text. Next you have ended the element that is inline. Next XML text node with the data is equals to post text. Next XML element end named second element. Next XML element end with a name that is our root element, that is the last one, that is document element. Understood? So, in this way you may use the Sax parser, which is a event based parser where you need to write all the events one after another in a sequential manner from top to bottom. Understood? That is all the theory related to Sax parser, which stands for a simple API for XML. Understood? So, coming to the next thing is AJAX, a new approach. So, AJAX, AJAX, which stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. AJAX is involved in both client and server communication, whereas Perl and CGI scripts normally runs at the server side and process the request obtained from the client side through the browser. So, and as you know already that AJAX is a asynchronous JavaScript and XML, and this AJAX is not a new programming language, but it is a kind of a web document which adapts certain new standards. And AJAX allows the developer to exchange the data with the server and update the part of the web document without reloading the entire web page. So, how AJAX works? So, when user makes a request, the browser creates a object for the HTTP request, and a request is made to the server over an internet. Then the server processes this request and sends the required data to the browser. And at the browser side, the returned data is processed by using the JavaScript, and web document gets updated accordingly without reloading it. So, now let us discuss about how the AJAX is working as per this diagram. So, see here we have taken the browser at the client side and the server is there. So, at the browser side first an event occurs. So, when an event occurs, it creates an XML HTTP request object. So, it creates a HTTP request object, and that request is made forwarded to the server over the internet. So, now at the server side it processes the request and sends the required data to the browser again through the internet. Now, the role is at the browser side. So, the returned data is processed by using the JavaScript and the web document gets updated accordingly based on your requirement without reloading the entire web page. Understood? So, now let us discuss about the same by using an example here. See here we have written a script, in that script we have written a function with a name that is a my of un. So, first we have created a variable that is req, and in so you are verifying if window.xml http. It means if window contains XML HTTP request, it has a compatibility, then you are making your request variable as a new XML HTTP request object. Else you are making your request variable as a new Microsoft ActiveX object. So thereafter, when a request is when an object is created, first onReady state change function is triggered. So thereafter, see here at the last you have written request dot onReady state change, which has two properties, that is a ready state property and status. Ready state means which holds the status of the request. If ready state is equals to 4 means the request is finished and the response is ready, and status is equals to 200 means okay. Then you have written you have used the JavaScript method, that is a document.getElement by ID with an ID, that is a myDiv dot inner HTML is equals to request dot response text you have written, and then next the request is forwarded to the server by using the two methods, open method and send method. The open method is accepting the 3 parameters there. The first one is a get or a post method, next second one is with which data you want to update the part of the web page. It is a location of the file on the server, and the third one is true or a false. Here a true means asynchronous and a false means synchronous. That's why, so here AJAX stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So that's why here we have written the true. Next we have forwarded the request to the server by using the request dot send method. Then close the script and then close the head, and inside the body by using the div tag with an ID, that is myDiv. You have written a heading, that is let AJAX change this text. So followed by that you have created a button with a name, that is a change content. So now let us see how does the output looks like. So initially the output looks like in this manner. That is first it has a heading like let AJAX change this text. So when you clicked on that button, that is a change content. So immediately that line, the let AJAX change this text is replaced by these two lines, where the two lines are like AJAX is not a new programming language. AJAX is a technique for creating fast and dynamic web pages. So these two lines are stored on the server in a file like AJAX info.txt. Understood? So now let us discuss the same example, how does it works. So in the above script we have written some text which can be replaced by some another text on a button click. So on a button click, a function that is a myFun is invoked. So the XML HTTP request object is used to exchange the data with the server. The object allows the user to change or update the part of the web page without reloading it fully. So the modern web browsers such as Internet Explorer 7 Plus or Firefox or Chrome, they have a built-in XML HTTP request object. But the old browsers makes use of Microsoft ActiveX object. So when a request is sent to the server, the onReady state change function is triggered. So when clicks on the change content, so two properties you need to follow, that is a ready state property and then status. So the ready state property holds the status of the XML HTTP request object. If ready state is equals to 4 means the request is finished and the response is ready. When the status is equals to 200 means okay, there is no problem. So the request can be sent to the server by using the two functions, that is open and send method. So now let us discuss about the open. So if you here it is accepting the 3 parameters. The first one you may write a get or post. Second one is the location of the file on the server, and the third one is true or false. True means asynchronous communication and false means synchronous. So remember that the difference between asynchronous and asynchronous is if you use that asynchronous means that asynchronous communication allows fast processing of the data, and that AJAX info.txt file contains some updating text which using which our web page can be updated. So the last send method sends the request to the server. Understood? So now let us discuss about the next concept, that is integrating PHP and AJAX. So, in this integrating the PHP and AJAX, we can use the AJAX along with the XML and the PHP. So, in this we will discuss an example how a HTML file along with the JavaScript communicates with the XML as well as the PHP. So, it works as follows. So, first you need to create a HTML file which will display a form that contains a drop down list. So, the user can select his or her friends names from the drop down list. So, when user selects a name, a function named show names will be triggered, and this function is defined in a JavaScript file. Understood? So, this function in a JavaScript file will send the selected name as a query string to the PHP file. So, the name of the PHP file is considered as a URL. So, the PHP file makes use of the document object model, and it will load the corresponding XML file using the document object model. So, using the document object model we go through each node of the XML document and retrieve the content one after another in a sequential manner. So, these contents are then returned to the HTML using the .inner HTML. So, hence on the browser we can get the details of the friend whose name is you selected. Understood? So, here 5 steps are there. So, coming to the first step. So, coming to the first step, here it creates a HTML document for displaying the form. So, here we have taken the first file name is ajax demo.html, where we have written a script, that is by writing sh is equals to testing.js. So, here we have used the JavaScript as a reference to this HTML document. So, see, inside the form we have created a select box by writing a text select a name. So, where we are writing on change is equals to show names, a function with the selected name as a parameter by using this dot value as a parameter. So, remember that this show names is a function which is written inside the testing.javascript file. So, here we have written some options, 3 options are written here, and thereafter you have closed the select, where all the names are written inside those options with respective values. So, thereafter by closing the form you have started a paragraph, and by using the div tag with a id, that is a txt hint, we have written a statement like friends details. Thereafter close the div tag, close the paragraph, and then close the body, close the HTML. So, now in step 2 we need to write that testing.javascript file. So, in this step 2 the JavaScript contains a function show names. So, whatever the code that we have written for the AJAX, the same code here you need to write, like either the browser has the compatibility of a XML HTTP request object, or else it has to make use of Microsoft ActiveX object. See, here we have written a variable, that is URL, where that getinfo.php file is passed to that URL, and our query, that is the selected name, is passed as a query to that URL. Understood? So, this is about testing.js, where it is actually verifying by creating a XML HTTP request object, our request is passed as a query to that PHP file. So, now let us discuss about the PHP here. So, the PHP script normally runs on the server side, which is given here. It will make use of the document object model, and it loads and handles the corresponding XML document. So, see here, first initially by using the $_get_array variable, we have loaded our query, where it is passed from the previously used JavaScript file. And see here, by creating a new DOM document, we are loading the XML document, and we are getting each and every element by using its name. So, by taking the for loop, we are accessing the each and every elements where they are available in that XML document. Thereafter, one after another, we are printing each and every details whatever they are available in that XML document. So, see, in that step 4, let us discuss about the XML document here. So, here in this XML document, the root element is a friend, where you are having the child element is info. and see here this info is used twice, and even related to this info also we are having certain child elements like a name, phone, email and hobby, where all these are the details of your friend. Finally, see inside the last step, for getting the output we will open the HTML file where it is created in the step 1 in the browser window. So, in this way we will integrate the XML as well as the PHP. So, here first initially we created a HTML file, and to that HTML file we have used a JavaScript as a reference. See, in that JavaScript we make use of the corresponding PHP file, and in that PHP file we are loading the XML document to retrieve the details of our friends. So, that is all about integrating the XML and PHP. Thank you.